Hey everyone, it is Monday. I'm here to correct today's lesson, which was our Intro to Statistics 9.1. In the intro video, I explained why it is that we are skipping over Chapter 8 temporarily. It's because in Chapter 8 we have another round with some geometry, and I felt that it would have been a little bit more challenging to teach that remotely. So we're going to skip to 9 for now and see what Governor Baker says about our return or possible return to school on May 4th. And then if need be, we'll circle back to Chapter 8. So in lesson 9.1, we're getting introduced to statistics, which is usually shortened to the word stats. You may have heard that before. And what statistics is, it's technically a science of collecting information, organizing the information, generalizing the information. Sometimes it's used to help predict outcomes or trends, and make some generalizations about it. Oftentimes the information that we are looking at here in math class is numerical, numbers, number crunching. So that could be scores of things, that could be points average per game, rebounds average per game, batting averages. All those things are numerical information. Okay, it obviously has context in that person's sport or whatever it happens to be, but it's numbers, okay? So in today's lesson on Workbook page 202, we were looking at two main skills. One, is a question statistical or not? Okay, and when we think about that in our notes, it said that a statistical question is one that would get many answers, a variety of answers. In our intro video today, we talked about how if I were to come in to the classroom and ask you guys, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Chances are I would get a variety of answers, okay? Whether I asked your math class, whether I asked all my math classes, the entire 6th grade, all of Glenbrook, chances are I'm going to get a variety of answers. Will there be cohorts of people who agree on, oh, it's cookies and cream, or oh, it's vanilla, or whatever? Of course there will, but I'm going to get a variety of answers. That's a statistical question. It is not numerical information, it's ice cream flavors, but the question itself is going to get many different answers. What is different than that would be me asking you, what year was the Declaration of Independence signed? Okay? Even if you don't know the answer to that question, there is an answer to that question. Okay, so that is not a statistical question. You're not going to get a variety of answers. Well, you shouldn't. Okay, so in questions 1 through 4 on today's assignment, you had to write yes or no. Yes, it's statistical. No, it's not. And then explain. Okay, so in number 1, if it says how many songs are on your MP3 player, anytime we're looking at a you or a your, let's pretend it's a collective you or your. Okay, not you specifically, but a many different people that you're asking. Okay, so and again, an MP3 player is just digital music, a digital music library. Okay, so is that a statistical question? Yes, it is, because if you were to ask a group of people that question, you're going to get a variety of answers. Okay, in question 2, how many feet are in 1 yard? No, that is not a statistical question because we have an answer to that. There are 3 feet in a yard. End of story. In question number 3, what's the name of your favorite movie? Again, that's like your ice cream flavor question. Yes, you're going to get a variety of answers, so yes, that is a statistical question. And then in number 4, this is a little tricky because if we're assuming it's everybody at Glenbrook, we might get a different answer as opposed to if I were to ask people from all over the state of Massachusetts. It says, how many 6th graders attend your school? If you're thinking about just Glenbrook, then no, it's not a statistical question because you're going to have one answer, even if you don't know what that answer is. But if I were asking people across the state, we have schools that are bigger than ours, we have schools that are smaller than ours, okay? So we are going to get a variety of answers. So that one there depends on your interpretation of the question, okay? In question 5, here's where we're introduced to another concept in this lesson, and that is a dot plot. Okay, a dot plot is more of a graphic representation of information. Usually drawn with dots. Sometimes we see it with X's instead. They mean the same thing. Unless noted, it is to be assumed that each of these dots represents one person surveyed or one instance, okay? If it's a big survey size, like hundreds and hundreds of people, there will probably be an answer or like a little key in the corner saying each dot represents 10 people or something, okay? But if we don't see that, it's to be assumed that each is one, okay? So this particular dot plot, this is exactly what's in your notebook, or in the workbook page 202. I just didn't write all the different numbers so it didn't get all messy, okay? It says that the dot plot shows the number of text messages received by students over the weekend. Okay, so we can see there's one student that got 65. Okay, that was the lowest number in this data set. And then there's one person that got 78. That's the largest number. And then we've got some numbers in between. Okay? Question A says, how many students are represented? Okay, remember, each of those dots represents a student. Okay, so how many students are represented? We would go through and we would count each and every one of those dots. And if you did, you should get 18 as your answer for part A. Okay, in part B, it says, how did we get this number? How did we collect this data? How can you collect this data? What are the units? We would have to count the dots, okay? We have to count out the dots to find out what that is, okay? And what the units are, basically, what does the dot represent? The dot represents a student or a person, okay? And then in part C, it says, write a statistical question that could be answered by this dot plot, okay? Remember, a statistical question needs to be one that you could get many answers. So I stuck with the obvious and said, how many text messages did you receive this weekend? Okay, because here we've got 18 different answers of what people said. Okay, so as always, feel free to go back, rewind, watch it again. The chat that I had with some of the students will be posted as well. Those tend to take a little bit longer to upload onto Google Classroom. And we'll have another go around with this tomorrow, our second day of lesson 9.1. So until then, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.